Over the 20-year history of the Battlefield franchise, there have been many great maps worthy of praise. Some maps become legendary, icons themselves of the Battlefield series, and worth remembering for their balance, uniqueness, and special gameplay. This is the story of the best maps of Battlefield. I am so effing lost. It's been 3 days since that weird blizzard split up our squad, and all I want to do is get back to my base. None of this looks familiar. I have no idea where I am. Oh, thank goodness, another person.
Stop right there, criminal scum! Nobody breaks the law on my watch!
Sir, I'm just lost in need directions. Is there really no one else around here to talk to? Listen, you really don't need to run and whoa, hey there, you don't need the sword. Please don't come any closer. I don't want to have to. Ouch! Damn it!
Damn you!
Stop it! Oops. What's happening? Here comes that weird snowstorm again. And I feel dizzy. Was that a horse that just went by? Where the hell did all of you come from? Where the heck am I? Ah, crap. Coming hot off the heels of the previous video covering the significantly flawed Brusilov Keep comes another Battlefield 1 map from the same DLC pack. This is Lupkow Pass. Although being part of the 6 multiplayer levels released as part of the In the Name of the Tsar expansion pack, Lupkow actually launched on its own a full 3 weeks early, and boy are the reasons for that obvious. It is so evidently the best of this batch, which contained such others as Galicia, Brusilov Keep, and the meat grinder Tsaritsyn. Getting right into it, one area which contrasts Lupkow Pass to nearly all of its DLC peers is its aesthetic beauty and detail. Honestly, sometimes the level feels as if it's part of an entirely different game, and it's not like there are any substantially unique assets used. The effective use of plentiful trees, boulders, cliffs, canyons, and a scattering of warm materials all set around a wintry mountain terrain make it a memorable and intense experience. And the cherry on top is the small stream weaving its way downhill along the outskirts. It is not some useless addition. It enhances the color palette of the design so you get a change from the oft-white and green overload, and the swift flow gives the map a sense of energy and life. Speaking of which, the forest fire in the distance provides another great color contrast. The mountain environment is exactly the right balance of elevation that I want to see in a map. Large enough to create high ground ranged advantages, but no requirement to adhere to them. A close-range engagement zone along the center of the map provides ample cover for movement and sudden bursts of fighting. Moreover, the vast amount of trees create good visual obstruction for player movement when the cliffs give way to more open terrain. The lighting on the map, though bright with the occasional sun glare, seems to be less frustrating than on other layouts given the ample line of sight blocks. The crispness of the environment also allows for great visibility to distinguish enemies. On the opposite end, and as in the case of some other Battlefield 1 maps, even the snowy fog or winter storms give Lupkow a different gameplay feel, nullifying the efficiency of sniper play. A 7-flag layout, the combat and terrain movement is not without frustrations. Most problematic is the main base deployment positioning and boundaries, which arguably force teams into a meat grinder situation difficult to break out of. This is particular of the Russian side, which, despite starting on substantially higher ground, gives little incentive to leave it. The first flag on their side, G, is Rostov Keep. Almost a maze, it is usually an objective of little Russian activity on most games. Even so, it is extremely difficult to attack from the low ground, making it a great defensive structure. The elevation drop and bottleneck into the map proper provides for only 2 realistic ways to break out, and when a team gets cornered here, it might be difficult to encourage teammates to make that dive through the wooded slope or the open canyons. Making things more difficult is that the next objective downhill, F, is prone to be completely demolished after a short grind, creating a vast empty space, but still providing an advantage to the Austro-Hungarians. The 3 houses of the Nerev depot here are, during the course of a normal round, good practical cover and a solid objective, if not one which is slightly difficult to approach. Beyond this flag, the borders open up to the map proper. 4 major objectives, C, D, E, and the aforementioned F, occupy the vast quantity of game experiences. The C objective, Powell's Watch, sits at the very heart of Lupkow near the mountains. It is a fairly simple setup, consisting of a flat snowfield and short trench line overlooked by a stone watchtower atop the map's highest peak. While not outright Russian favored, approaching can be difficult. Its centrality doesn't make it the most popular flag, rather it is sought after for its proximity to the D point slightly downhill. D. The wreckage of a bomber crash lies atop a flatter mesa with slopes and cliff edges along the sides. The objective is a focal point of the map due to its high ground advantage, providing great line of sight, surrounding cover, and tendency to provide the most enemy encounters throughout a round, thanks to more effective use of close-range weapons. Tucked in a corner downhill and across, or technically even under, the train tracks is Nerev Village, E. This flag is a bit of an oddity. It's a fairly contentious place to be given the sparse cover of the few houses. Rather, it almost certainly holds strategic value and player interest because of its minor reinforcement distance to the larger battle up the hill. Although the bridge support pylons can be utilized for cover, passing through can be rough when smoke grenades are not deployed carefully. Moreover, high ground paths encroaching from the east and west give players a more favorable position and route to approach. Then there is the B flag, Foothills Artillery, one of the most isolated and empty locations on the map. I almost consider this objective a pull flag, that is, one intended to draw a few players away from the main battle to avoid a clustered or explosive overload. Although it sits at a scenic vista near the creek, it's incredibly open and in clear view of the center mountain, frequently making it a death trap for anything other than cavalry moving through. My advice? Just avoid it entirely. Finally, we arrive at the A objective, the Galician Trail. Containing a destroyed convoy, it wouldn't be so bad of an objective if it didn't sit at such low ground. It lies immensely close to the Austro-Hungarian deployment, and, like the opposite side of the map, the border creates a bottleneck, practically forcing a confrontation here. Should the majority of the map lie in Russian control, the elevation advantage makes this difficult to break out from or even recapture. Thankfully, the isolation of this flag from the others makes it a rare source of major combat. Another interesting quirk of Lupkow Pass is the route of the railway track available for the armored train reinforcement. Passing through a substantial canyon near the mountain and then an exposed bridge, it really doesn't hold much of an advantage to either side. Pre-placed landmines and explosives from higher ground make it a sitting duck for both teams, and honestly, good riddance. Largely ineffectual, this is a positive to the player experience. The rugged mountain terrain necessitates the removal of all ground armor options, making it a largely infantry-centric ordeal. That being said, a large quantity of cavalry options are available, though not to the extent of Caporetto, and their effectiveness is limited by obstacles and cliff edges. However, one of the mistakes of Lupkow Pass was the inclusion of aircraft, 2 per team. Maybe not of the fighters, but certainly the option of bombers, particularly the Ilya Muromets. Though a low flight ceiling makes them vulnerable to ground fire, the map only has 2 stationary AA guns. This makes well-piloted and coordinated players very effective at achieving mass murder. It makes unnecessary deaths complicate an otherwise good experience. Arguably, the greatest strength of Lupkow Pass is the gameplay which takes place between flags, which is a rare thing for a map. Isolated, quick encounters in a canyon, or at different elevations while traveling around, are intimate and immersive. It's the environment that really drives it home. If it wasn't a winter map, I don't think it would work nearly as well. Lupkow Pass is a bit rough around the edges. While some of the border choke points and aircraft options can be frustrating, the biggest layout issue, the main deployments, are usually not too bad as most rounds on the map don't become one-sided. Even so, there is a tendency to be bogged down around the F flag, creating a slight advantage for the Austro-Hungarians. Meanwhile, the verticality and line of sight ranges deviate considerably, which, while a good thing for playstyle options, might make gameplay experiences vary and create divisive opinions. Otherwise, the map is one of considerable beauty, perfect scale, and when you exclude the gimme flag of Rostov Keep, one of largely balanced elevation between the 2 teams. It provides an infantry venture that is unique to the grind of many other Battlefield 1 maps, a middle ground between the sniper-heavy landscapes and the close-quarters spamfests, with plenty of cover and pathing options along the way. Lupkow Pass may not have the notoriety of Argonne Forest, but perhaps there is a comparison to draw between them, with Lupkow being the wintry alpine variant, larger and more range-heavy, allowing for more intimate fights. When placed in context of the entire series, Lupkow Pass is the rare battle on a mountainside which actually works well. Wow, the weather's getting really bad around here. Wait, what just happened? Oh, okay. Weird. Oh, come on.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.